Another thing that I think you should be aware of and run from and don't put up with is lack of communication. This I've dealt with, I feel like, to an extreme. And I genuinely saw a thing the other day that was like, being ignored can cause physical pain, like actual, like, in the heart, and people have died from it, like, genuinely.
Oh my gosh, it's literally the worst feeling in the world.
It's crazy. And like, I've always not liked silence, being ignored, like, it's a trigger of mine. I've always explained this to my friends and people that love me, so for anyone to use it against me, I think is personal. Especially when you've explained it time and time again. So for me, like, in my relationship, like, I had this all the time of like them going out, not messaging me where they're even going, where they're at, and then I'll be like, oh, what you been doing today? No response. They go to like a uni party or something, and like, I remember there was 2 days I got nothing at all. 2 days. And I think I rang him once, messaged maybe 2 or 3 times, rang him again, and on the phone he was like pissed off with me that I was like bothering him. And I then apologized. And this is the biggest thing for me in the relationship, because this happens on so many different instances, that eventually I convinced myself that I was the problem in this. I went to therapy thinking I had anxiety issues because he would go away and not talk to me.
Realistically, it's the inconsistency and the lack of...
Yeah, it was that, because now coming out of that relationship, I do not have anxiety at all. And when people are busy, like, I can deal with it on a completely normal level, but this was not normal. This was like a punishment. I've learned anyway that like it was done one half because we were young, and I feel like these types of people just do care about themselves, and if they're having fun, they want to do what they want to do, that's what they care about. And then also part of it, I think, is malicious sometimes, where like, especially if you've communicated that it upsets you and then someone's doing it again and again and again, that has to be malicious, or you're stupid. Do you know what I mean?
Punishing behaviour is nothing that should be accepted from anyone. They're not your parent, and no one should be punishing you.
For like reaching out,
if someone's really upset a person, then they can easily walk away, or they can explain that you've hurt them. No one should be punishing you.
Yeah, and I just think
that's ridiculous.
Like some of the things I'd ask, like at the time I used to think, yeah, I'm so anxious, like I'm quite clingy, like, oh, I really love him, da, da, da. Walking away from that, I really did not ask for much at all. I just was interested in like his day. Like, it was my boyfriend. Why am I even making this up? Like, it was weird. Like, oh, it's funny.
Oh my gosh.
But like, literally, like, it would be like, oh, like, what are you doing today? Didn't hear all day. Or what did you do today? Like, went out. Like, it was so vague. And like, I feel like withholding information's another thing as well. Like, where did you go?
Oh my gosh.
I did some things.
Withholding information, sorry.
Or okay, like, who? Someone, you don't know them. Like, why so secretive? Like,
I think they want you on edge.
Yeah, it has
in
to
some
be,
way.
and
like,
that's a punishment
why
technique
wouldn't,
that you need to look out for.
Yeah, if someone constantly keeping you on edge or being secretive, it don't mean they have secrets. They just want you to think they do.
Yes, it's
like they're like, seriously, they want to see that their life is more interesting, or I was up to stuff. I met with people.
That's how I felt, because like
sometimes it's,
I don't know. I look back and in the examples I'm thinking of, I don't actually think the person I was seeing was actually up to anything bad. It was just a weird way of keeping me chasing and being like, well, what did you do? Like, why aren't you calling me? Like,
it's always also a friend.
I was with a friend. Like, what is that about? Like, I don't get it. And like, I'm just trying to look at my notes here. Like, and it would always happen when I'm doing something good as well. Like, imagine, like, and this is where I do have advice on the other side of like, you need to make sure you have your own life, because 100%. Yes, I was dealing with this person that I do feel like was punishing me, but I also had no sense of like my own worth and my own life, that it was made worse because I was waiting around.
I mean, your life is them.
My life was him.
Your career, your job.
Literally. It was like
your life
literally everything.
Is them. And this is like aside from narcissism. This is any
this
young
is
girl,
just
because
like
I see it in
every
aspect. Like, it's really sad. Like, I think a lot of us tend to get consumed, girls especially, and I don't know if that's wrong to say.
I mean, it probably is both.
But
if we're seeing it more with girls,
like, no. I think this is a girl issue. I think girls are naturally more giving people, and I've never seen a man drop his life to centre around a girl before. Personally, they keep their hobbies. They're going to play their video game until whatever time. Girls, one thing that The thing that we are guilty of when we're young is, you know, dropping hobbies, changing bedtime schedule, changing the like little things you'll start to notice.
We sacrifice our lives for them.
Exactly, and don't do that. You need to have a life, because if not, your life will be them.
And this is the thing, if you are with someone that notices that, they're going to use it against you.
Exactly.
And it's just going to be so like for me now, like even towards the end of my relationship, I started to have my own life a bit. So it never really affected me that much until it was like, yeah, you are just being completely rude and inconsiderate. Like, I still have a problem with what you're doing. Not because I was clingy and waiting for him, but because it was just rude. So you want to differentiate that between, like, is it your abandonment issues and you not really having, like, your own worth? Or is it also them punishing you and doing it on purpose and just being inconsiderate, I think.
And I think a lot of it, like, it feeds their ego when you stress.
Yeah,
so that's why they withdraw
kink, I think. Like it's like they could get off to it.
I think that's why they withhold that kind of information, because it's like, the second you say, oh, who are you with, they're like, oh, why do you care? Like, why do you care so much? You know what I mean? Like,
it's so true. And
I think you stressing really makes them feel, you know, they are so scared to lose me. They would never have a life without me. Like, all of that combined makes them feel good again.
I think you just have to remember that being ignored is not normal. Do you know what I mean? And like, the one thing I have learned, because I have friends that I love so much, and their reaction to arguments is actually they want space. So this is something that my partner my ex used to always say is, oh, well, I'm just someone that needs space, distance, like, in an argument. I've seen that does exist. In a healthy way. Like, my friends, like, they do that. Like, they've been brought up in a way where their survival mode is to, like, escape and have space and think. And I'm a bit more like that now, because I want time to process it and think rationally. I understand that. But this was not the case. This was just complete avoidance.
Yeah, but the thing is, if you want space, surely you could actually just say that in one sentence.
Or communicate it. But again, like I
just
always
decide one day I'm taking space and then disappear. Like,
well, I always used to put that down to just age. I just thought it was an immature thing to do. But the older I do get, like I feel like I've made a lot of excuses for a lot of this. Like, I'm not perfect, but I've made a lot of excuses for, like, the age thing and everything. But like, when I really dig deep into some of the stuff that happened, I think, no, that was wrong. And I don't want to give it an umbrella term or like a specific diagnosis on nothing, but like, that was wrong and mean. And I'm finally admitting that to myself, because I've like really been like, yeah, but I did this and we were so young and this happened. No, it was so fucked up. And once you can like admit that and say, you didn't deserve that, actually, don't go through that again. You won't.
Exactly.
Do you know what I mean? I will never do that again. And you'll know
the signs, and you will feel sick when you see them.
Yeah, like, if someone wants to ignore me, I think, okay, go ignore someone else, because it's not going to be me.
Yeah. Don't go into the mindset that there's a scarcity of people that will love you, because number one, this person don't love you. But
facts.
Anyways, don't ever think there's no one else, because that is their game, and it actually infuriates me that I could ever feel like this. But they will genuinely convince you from probably day dot. They will tell you that there's no one else like them. Everyone else is like a little boy, and they are a man. Which is like, okay, don't know where you've got that from, but they will convince you little bit by little bit, but it's only them, and why they are so much better than anyone else in this world, and how you will never find someone not only like them, but you will just never find anyone else.
Well, do you know how I can back this? Is because I have had way more love and nurture from the new guy friends I have in the last year than that whole 5-year relationship.
Exactly.
Like, my bestest friends, and literally have made me feel like I could cry. Like, there's the majority of them, there's nothing romantic, and like, that makes me feel, they've made me feel more seen and loved than anyone really has. And they don't even like, but the reason that is because I'm authentically myself for the first time in my life. And do you know what we were saying, actually, it was crazy, is my whole life I've fought for attention, I've fought to be wanted, okay, and the one time I let go and just was myself off the back of this relationship, this group just gave me the most love I've ever felt, and I didn't even try.
Exactly.
And I was, that was the turning point for me.
Love.
And like, and then also like dating again and like speaking to people after the relationship and everything, like, I just was like, oh my god, you're so much like better. Like, and I don't even, and you don't need
it's not even hard. Like,
it's not hard. Like, honestly, some of, like, there's people that have, like, made me feel so loved and seen, or, like, were just more tailored to me, maybe.
And do you know,
or, like, do you know the biggest thing is, like, when someone's, like, upset me and I vocalized it, I didn't get shouted at. They actually understood.
like, fair enough.
I was like, but I have something to say with that. So one, yes, the whole, like, do not be scared, there is always better. And it doesn't have to be romantically, it can be friends, whatever, you will find better. But do not then fall in love with the next person, please. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
because, like, the thing is, you have to understand that your bar is on the floor.
like, so
don't
low.
get anyone on the pavement. Please aim higher. What do we say in school? Let's aim higher. Let's aim higher. Don't take some time away.
Yeah.
Take some time alone, and not just a month. Not just 2 months.
Well, no, I
Like,
took I think I took 8 months, actually. But
even then, it's still risky.
I'm
because
not judging no one for how you want to go about it, okay? Because I think I was a weirdo. I genuinely spent 8 months not even messaging not a single male
Which isn't
species.
necessary.
Okay, you can still have your fun, do what you want. I didn't, because I was that traumatized, okay? But being alone for 8 months taught me so much about myself. I become so secure that I was almost a bit of a bitch after, being like, fuck you lot, like, and that was that whole narcissistic ego cycle
exactly.
again,
You think it's gone.
I'm like, I'm the shit now because I've done my healing. It's not that at all. But you then meet people that you do, that are very nice, that you do like, you have interest, and it could work, but they're not 100% your match. They're just another nice person.
A lot of people could work.
Yeah,
I'm
like,
not gonna lie.
There's
like,
so many people that I'm like, oh, that could
work.
You could be boyfriend and girlfriend for a year, have some fun, it fizzles out, cool. But is it worth it?
Yeah.
No. And also, if you're someone that's like going to get attached and fall in love again, you don't want to have this whole cycle again and have to heal again. You need to make sure you are ready, and then the person that you are willing to date is genuinely right for you, not just the next boy that's giving you attention after. Because I promise you, like, it just still won't be right. Like, it's tests, it's learning, I think. And that's the thing you're finding, is if you've got someone in front of you, like, for me anyway, I struggle with dating because I'm just always cautious of that, of like, is it the ego that's making me feel good, or am I actually interested in this person? Because I'm not going through the whole limerence thing again of liking the attention and how they make me feel, and not the person. And then they can take that away from me. Like, I can't do that again.
Exactly. And that is such a risk if you've come out of a relationship that's broken your confidence, your soul, your everything, because you're gonna now, maybe even a year later, 2 years later, if you don't realize that you've picked up I guess an ego as a form of protection, anyone else that comes into your life, you might be using to heal a wound that you don't know is there, which is again why we're doing this. Make sure that you kind of aren't just finding someone that's healing the wound. Like, okay, say that your relationship lacked, I don't know, physical touch, and it's just a random fact. Just because that random man that you met 2 days is really good with physical touch does not mean that they've come and solved all your problems. And they definitely haven't healed your heart, or that bit that was missing from you. Try and figure out what you lost, find it again, and then you won't just, I mean, it's even unfair to the other person. You won't just be unfairly using someone to fill a void that you lost so long ago. But it's hard to recognise what you've lost.
It's very hard, because, like, I've been speaking about this in therapy, and she's almost like, she might, like, disagree with what that was saying, and I find it a bit weird. And she's obviously, like, very much like, you need to put yourself first. For so long you've not put yourself first, so do what you want. But the hurt becomes the hurt, do you know what I mean? And I'm just very cautious, like, if you want to do that, you have to make sure the other person is completely on board, and it's in a healthy manner. And if you need to take a break,
it happens.
Like, you have to be so careful.
Like, it does, because you don't want to again.
And for me anyway, I just struggle anyway with that, because I think every few weeks I need alone time, because I feel like I'll just get attached again. And even friends, like, if I spend too much time with Jason, like 3 days in a row, I'm like, right, I can't see Jason
we can't,
for a few days, because I am someone that just grabs onto that consistency and seeing,
and love
like,
doesn't hold. Ego holds onto a person. No, but it's true. Ego holds because as long as that person is there, then you feel great. it doesn't matter if they don't want to be with you. If you truly love a person, you love them.
Yeah.
Ego holds more than like, it's not love if you feel the need to hold that person back or hold them even though you know you're upsetting them and you know they ain't really doing much in your life, but you know they like you and you need someone to like you. That's what ego will do. Love it. If you truly love a person, if that person wasn't happy in the situation they're in and they wanted to leave, you will let them. But yeah, be careful about holding on to things and confusing it for love.
Yeah.
Just because you want someone there and sometimes you actually need that person there because they are really filling that void.
Yeah.
Don't confuse that, I must love them because I wouldn't be able to be without them. That's not love.
Yeah.
It's quite the opposite.
Yeah.
Love, like I put on my story, like my Angela, she said, I might like to have you near, like I might want to hold you.
Yeah.
But that can't happen, so I love you. That's what love is. Ego means you have to be here,
Yeah.
So be careful. If you feel like you couldn't be without a person, that also is a sign of damage
scary.
because you're
Please
using them.
don't ever feel that way.
Yeah.
Another thing I want to talk about is image, and I think this is very big of a narcissistic trait. And I feel like I had this. I will never know for certain in the example I'm going to say, but I had a lot of issues where the person I was seeing refused to post photos of me, and we were together
refused.
5 years.
Like, not just like, oh, he didn't, like you brought it up and he refused.
Like, he was like, no, I'm not doing it. And to the point where I'll hold my hands up. I took his phone in the car one day and I posted a lovely photo. We'd been to London, we did a thing. I put it on his Instagram and posted a story. He watched me and he got so upset and so angry. Or maybe, I don't think he noticed for like 5 minutes, so people saw it, then he noticed and got so angry with me. And I could never understand why he got so angry. Like, oh, I'm a private guy, okay, cool. But why are you so angry?
Sorry.
Posting your friends and your lovely
If you
outings,
can post everything else
except 4 to 5
your
year girlfriend.
I don't know how private you really are.
But anyway, I did it once and it really pissed him off. Maybe I shouldn't have done it. Invasion of privacy, apparently. But
Stop.
but like, basically I couldn't comprehend it, and for me the whole issue with my relationship was all I wanted was reassurance that he actually liked me and wanted to be seen with me and all of that. So like, photos here, communicating, showing that you actually wanted to talk to me, cared for me, all of that umbrella stuff would have made me feel loved, and I would have never even like brought up an issue, but I had to bring it up every other week because,
I mean, even on a birthday, which
one?
The one that really upset me. I was at uni, so you must have been 19.
Oh my god, wait, you tell me because I don't remember.
You must have been 19. No, you will when I tell you, because he posted like a screenshot of your story and sent a photo of you guys together.
Yeah, so like on Snapchat back in the day.
This is like insane.
Oh my god, no.
This is insane.
I didn't remember that. You know on Snapchat, like back in the day, you take a nice photo of yourself and you put it, and you put like 19, 20, whatever you are. But normally your close friends, boyfriends, will put your own photos together.
Oh, yeah.
Like a nice little spam.
Anything.
And he just screenshotted my photo from Snapchat and just put HBD. With like
babe. It was babe.
Babe? Oh, I got a babe.
Yeah, but like that could have been anyone.
Thanks. He didn't. Yeah.
It was just,
oh god. But anyway, so things like that. Anyway, he just refused to post me really, and it was very. And he would maybe here and there, but it was a battle, and I always used to take it very personally. I used to think like, is he cheating? Like, I don't know what it was. Anyway, all I know is that I think it was more of an image issue where he didn't want to be seen with me, and back in the day I would have taken it very like personal. Like, I felt quite insecure. I had no eyebrows, like honestly, like
because of him.
He plucked my eyebrows off. He actually anyway, the thing is, there is so many things I could talk about and so many like jaw-dropping things, and I maybe did like, my reactions probably weren't the best either, and I really don't want to cause this as like a place where people think I'm trying to like tell my story and then and run, because
a YouTube my story, my side of the
absolutely
story.
fucking not. And I'm very careful, but I just have a few examples where I feel like they were issues and I need people to be aware of them.
But,
so the idea of not posting me, I always question my worth and why, looking back on it and going, and I pay for therapy, okay, like I actually pay for my own therapy, so I'm not just like causing an issue here. Like, I've understood that this was an issue of image. He did not want to be seen with me for whatever reason. I will never know. But
doesn't even matter though.
Don't think I fitted
doesn't even matter.
What he wanted
image.
People to view him as, and basically
the thing about people that possess narcissistic traits, there's nothing more important to them than the opinion of others. So don't think that this is the only way image can come. They if they have an image that they've created and it works and it wins the approval of others, they're going to run with it. Their image might be the nice guy.
That is true.
Do you know what I mean? Their image might be a bad boy. Their image might be a person. I don't know. There's a load of different.
Do you know what it could be?
Types. Whatever that image is, and the fact that it works and it wins the approval of them, they are going to go.
They're going to run with it.
Run with it, and they are going to go to earth trying to keep that image, whatever feeds their ego. So don't even think just because it's a nice boy that they're nice.
Yeah.
Sometimes they're nice to feed their ego because they love people saying, "You are so nice. You're so different." So you were towards this person, and they are the meanest person you've ever come across in your life. But the image to the world is what matters. Yeah. Their image to you, no, the way they act to you might be the opposite of what you see them put out into the world, and that's why you can't
comprehend it.
Exactly.
Honestly, like, I think for me anyway, like, there were so many people that used to come up to me that like didn't go to school with us. I'd be like, oh, I didn't know you were dating this guy. I didn't know you were dating him. Like, he never says any. He doesn't talk about you. I'm like, thanks, guys. Like, so great. He had an image. He wanted to, for whatever reason, he didn't want people to know I was there. Cool.
Yeah.
There's some people that will use you as the image, like put you everywhere. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Put you as the forefront of their persona because you make like, them look better.
Yeah. Or it's like you have a certain image, not a fake image. You've got a certain, there's, I don't know, like you've got, what's the word, reputation.
Yeah.
And they know that clinging on to that makes them have a certain reputation. So you have to be very careful.
Yeah.
If there's someone that you see that acts different around the rest of the public or even strangers, and then you have them behind closed doors and they are the complete opposite, that's also another red flag, because you know it's fake. It's a persona. It's like clothes they wear when they go outside, because they know it wins them approval.
Another thing that I kind of want to summarize this, okay, like I was in this, and I've also dealt with friends like this, and like growing up young, being around it, like potentially you've even dealt with it in families. Everything we're talking about can relate in so many different ways, but the thing that I think the reason I'm going to talk about this more about relationships is because I went through that in my very malleable years, like the most prominent years where your brain's developing, and for such a long time, and it was like the core of my life for such a long time. So that's why I have more to talk about on it compared to the rest. But I really want to talk about, like, I don't want to dwell on like how long I stayed, what went wrong, what went right, all of that. I don't really want to talk about that. I want to like talk about how I got out of it. Do you know what I mean? And because it was a difficult one getting out of it, and like the breakup for me was quite hard, and I think I've probably touched on this in my breakup podcast episode.
Yeah.
But maybe I didn't get into the detail because back then I was actually so terrified of giving any details, thinking it would come back at me. But like, this is what I went through. Do you know what I mean?
It's true, yeah.
And as we say, we're not psychologists. So I'm not saying
this is narcissism.
This is narcissism, and this is how every narcissistic relationship will go.
But
everyone's different. But this is what happened with me, and I just think if this is any similar situation to you, please run away. I think that something to remember, I got broken up with twice in the relationship. One very early on, and it was it was like 3 days and we got back together, like very quick. But the same thing happened where he was really, really nice to me, like did loads of nice things, and then broke up with me. It was really fucking weird because it was like a real high to the point where I'm like, oh my god, we're hitting a new level here. Like and then he broke up with me, and it was weird. That kind of fixed, and I could move on. I think that initial breakup always kind of stayed with me a little bit though. Like, what was that about?
Yeah, because you also have fear that it could happen again.
Well, yeah,
at any moment.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie. Literally, the rest of the relationship, because
at any moment, because
of
it came
his
unexpected
actions, I just thought he was gonna break up with me every day. But the second and final breakup, he did the very same thing, and everyone can back me on this, multiple different people, because he paid for my nails. My nail lady will know. He got me a massive bouquet of flowers. He bought me, I think he got me jewelry. I can't remember everything, but there was basically loads of really nice things in like 1 week. I think we went to the spa together. Like lots of things, and I literally was on like cloud 9. Again, it's this high obsession, limerence, fake love, but I was on cloud 9. Okay.
Do you also think that maybe that's so that you would only have good feelings towards?
Maybe, but it did the opposite. Well. It made me hate him more.
But
for
do you
doing
think,
that.
in a way, it's like, even if he's done this bad thing, he's still like,
well, he explained this to me in our discussion of the breakup. He said, because I mentioned this in the breakup, I said, well, why did you do all those nice things for me if you knew? Because he was like, I've been thinking about this for months. I was like, so you knew you were going to break up with me? He basically said it was to make him feel better. He said I thought it might make me feel better, and then I'd stay with you. So it was about himself. He said he never felt good about himself in the relationship, so he was trying to do things that made him feel better, so he'd stay with me. It was a bit of a weird one. So again, I think it was all based off ego, the whole relationship, and he admitted it there. And that was a head fuck. Again, it's that high to low, and I just don't want anyone to, because I know some people like try and draw you back, and I think he kind of did, because that we had a breakup, that all happened, had like a discussion of a breakup, but it wasn't really like, it was kind of finalized, but like he still was messaging me and like being like, oh, come round and stuff. But once that had happened, I was not seeing that man in a romantic way again. I just would go around because I still was very close to his family and stuff. I think it was like his birthday. I literally took his Instagram birthday photos for him, and we went really together, but you know, things like that. And I just was still there because I hadn't processed that like he actually was serious, and he wasn't leaving me alone, so I didn't believe it. I thought he was just going to come back, and he said it was he needed to heal himself, you know, and he needed space, all this. So I obviously have a healing podcast. I respect that. I would have let you do that.
Worst part.
Do you know what I mean? Like, of course I understood that. I mean, I didn't really understand why I couldn't help him on his healing journey, but for some reason I wasn't allowed to be there, and that was that. Anyway, so he's still like keeping me around, and at this point I'm still very much like, yeah, chasing him, because I'm still like hoping that he's just gonna be like, actually forget what I said, like it's fine. And the more time that went on, the more I realised, like, what is going on? Like, you can't have your cake and eat it. And I did say that to him, and he didn't really get it. And then he took me to London for my birthday, and we weren't together. And I literally was like, you better be getting 2 beds, separate rooms, whatever. Like, I'll pay the extra, whatever. He didn't. He got 1 room, 1 bed. And, oh my God, I'm so proud of myself. The boundaries I had for myself. I sat in that bed, and
It's such a confusing thing to do.
I'm not even going to give the details of, like, the discussions we had and how traumatic that was for me, like sitting there. I actually thought we got on better as friends that weekend, and in my head, because we had discussions of staying friends, and obviously I just wanted to be around him, so after that trip I was in my head a bit like, oh, maybe this could work, but it's because I had emotionally detached romantically. So I was having a great time as an individual person now, and I could tell he hated that, and I was quite, I wouldn't say cold, but I wasn't chasing anymore. I wasn't being as over the top as I used to be. I was having a good time as mates, and he put me in a very awkward situation in that hotel where I just had to sleep. You know, let's not get into the deals or anything, but like, it was intense. And then the next days after, I carried on my life as normal. We're broken up, but I said thank you so much for the weekend and everything. Like, I was grateful. He did plan everything to a T. And then the next few days he was like, I feel like you're very ungrateful, and I was like, I don't understand what more I could have done. Like I said thank you, I said it was amazing. Like, I offered to pay for like anything more that needed to be paid. We had issues with the Uber, like that was insane, like, everything. And he was like, you're ungrateful, and I was like, the only thing I can think of was that I didn't sleep with you. That was the only thing I could think of that I did wrong.
Or show all that love,
or like show affection,
and all that,
or like be the girlfriend.
Do.
But I wasn't his girlfriend, so what did he want me to do?
So it's probably all of that. But in that, could I add something? This is what I mean when I say, like, when you walk away, which I pray that all of you find the strength to do, don't be fooled when you see them react in this manner, because it's not you. If they've acted like they basically hated you the whole relationship, and now all of a sudden they're upset and all this, don't think they miss you or want you back. They want the attention back, because that was exactly what kept them going. That is exactly what fed their ego. So when that's gone and they see you again, and you're not giving them that exact ego feed that they'd hoped to, when they do all that for you, then they are going to be distraught and blame you and be like, why are you not feeding my ego again?
Well, it's
they didn't miss you.
When you go distant,
attention,
and you stop giving, they chase you back. He never once chased me until I stopped chasing him, and do not take that as advice. Do not fall for it. Don't take that for advice. Don't stop chasing them just so they'll chase you, because now you're then again feeding your own. Don't take that. Exactly. But I just was emotionally checked out, and I stopped being the girlfriend. And he then finally, and I had a moment where I was like, oh my God, he's finally given me the attention I wanted the whole 5 years. He's actually,
that's what I mean. That's what.
The whole 5 years. I had a very intense moment where he made me feel so bad for just not for being friends, which is what he wanted. I could
That's
not.
an attention
And the
thing.
biggest advice I can give you is have strong boundaries, please, please, please. These strong boundaries you have, and don't get me wrong, that was probably the hardest moment of my life.
Yeah. Don't even do it. Like, don't even. They will. I promise you, they will pull you back, and you will be surprised because it's like, why weren't you doing this initially? Don't fall for it. It's not a thing where they want you. They want their attention back. I promise you.
3 months.
Exactly. I promise you. That's what they like to do, which is why I don't believe in being friends with these kind of people. Don't. A lot of people. There's not people that you can attempt to be friends with because they will find that as an opening, and they're still getting that attention from you, and they'll probably act worse because it's like there's no actual labels on it now.
Oh no, but you're completely right because. So whilst this was all happening, keeping me around, taking me to London, being really weird in London, like upset that I wasn't being a girlfriend, which is a mindfuck because I'm like, should I be being a girlfriend then? I don't know. At the same time, he was acting single and wanted to be single, and I wish he'd just told me the truth at the time, being like, I want to see other people, and I could have just ended it there. But it was this mind fuck, and he did that. And then even like 2 months later, he was still trying to keep me there in contact. We went to Budapest, still in contact. My dog got diagnosed with cancer. He came around with flowers and brought his mum, and apparently it was his idea, not his mum's.
Oh damn.
And I was so mentally I was like, oh my god, that's so lovely, like, thank you. And that was a mindfuck in my brain. I was like, oh my god, he's brought me flowers, he cares still. And then like literally 2 weeks later,
oh my god,
we had a discussion, and he was like, you're either 1 foot in, 1 foot out. And I was like, I'm so confused, you're the one that's broke up with me and you're keeping me around, do you want me to go or not? Quite confused. Anyway, I asked him, did you sleep with someone? Yeah. So realistically, this grey area time where he was still pushing and pulling, he had created connections strong enough to then sleep with someone. So it was over when he first wanted to break up with me, and I wish he just said that factually and stopped leading me on. So my best advice for getting out of these types of things is do not fall for this back and forth, highs and lows, keeping you as a friend, no contact.
No, but like I'm being so serious about, like, if I've been more serious about something in my life, no contact is
no contact, and I mean
way.
no contact. Like, no, I loved his family, but I had to block them all.
You don't need to keep them on anything because you'll still be posting, being like, oh, are they seeing this joke? Like, no.
As soon, like, I literally, and I do apologise because I had to remove so many people that
sorry to,
like, I actually do apologise, and there might be some people that don't like me, they're like, she removed me. There are some people that were just like slightly linked to him, but if I saw one repost of that man's face, for my own sanity, I would unfollow, and I've done that, and I swear in 2 years I've not heard or seen a single thing.
But this is what I mean, like, I saw how much Maisie blossomed in no contact.
Oh my god, it worked amazing.
Like, seriously.
Because for me, anyway, and I think it's the limerence.
After 5 years, that is genuinely one of the hardest things to do.
But
I'm not joking.
I do need to give a disclaimer there, like, I was in a limerent state of mind, which is what my therapist says. So normally when you're away from it, outside out of mind, you actually don't give a fuck about that person ever again. Like, I have no care.
It's not easy. Exactly.
But it also is a bit of an ADHD thing as well, apparently, where like you're so infatuated by someone and then you couldn't care at all about him. So it's one or the other. But like, I'm very
hard.
Intense.
Let's not just like, we're just saying no contact like it's an easy thing to do.
No, it is hard.
And trust me, we know, like, every girl's probably had to do it at some point. And sometimes no contact's not always because there's a bad thing. I think it's good for every, like, no contact doesn't mean they're bad. I'm not saying that. I think it actually applies to nearly every breakup. I think at first, then eventually maybe if it was a mutual thing, then you can. But I mean, the grey areas are just never good.
I just think, no matter good or bad, no contact is the only way to get over someone, because you don't want to be seeing what they're doing, and your ego, you don't want to be posting for them. Or to like be living this life.
And
like, I love taking photos. My Instagram is full of photos, but it's all because they're authentically me and what I like.
And that's the only way it should be.
Everything. He's not going to see a single one of those photos, so I'm not posting for that. Or any of the friends I've fallen out with or anything, I'm only ever going to be posting for me now, because I've learned that. But it is hard if they're not blocked. I think the reason I wanted to do this is because each person I've dealt with that has narcissistic tendencies, or just mean, has made me question who I am, made me feel embarrassed about who I authentically was eventually, and given me the high highs, low lows, so it's very hard to escape. And I just think, in summary, like, these people make you feel so bad about yourself, so bad, make you feel like you're crazy, that you're the problem, you're less than them, they're on a pedestal and you're obsessed with them and they can do no wrong. Like, I lied so much to my friends and family, or like, maybe not lie, but I hid so much.
Yeah.
Like, every time we'd have an argument, like another thing is that he'd come to my house in such a bad mood, and mum and dad would be like, oh, what's wrong? And I didn't know, and then I'd spend the next hour in my bedroom being like, tell me what's wrong, have I done something? And I just always assumed it was me, and jumping to assume it's you're taking it personally, don't do it. It's not your issue if they're in a bad mood. And I used to beg, I'm like, what's wrong? Nothing. So why are you at my house? Why at my house, bothering me and my family?
Like, it's given like, oh, I've been forced here.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And
honestly,
that makes you feel bad as well, because you're like, oh, I forced this person.
Do you know what?
here.
I think he genuinely did feel like he was forced, and this is why I'll never understand why you just didn't leave me alone earlier. Like,
the attention.
But it's attention, ego, whatever it is, I don't know. But it's, again, these are all things that, like, at the time you're so obsessed and you think, oh, he's just in a bad mood. Like, you make so many excuses. Like, we went for a meal once and he refused to talk to anyone, and I still don't know why. My mum was like, should I take him home? And I was like, I don't know. Like, I don't know what's going on. Like, and he just would never communicate, and that's the thing. You want to be with someone that makes you feel actually wanted and not hated.
Exactly.
You want to be with someone that can communicate and genuinely do you know what it is? To be loved is to be considered. I will never trust love anymore. I will only trust consideration and respect.
Love is something that will express itself through the way someone acts. It won't just express itself through words.
I'm gonna end it there, and like, if anyone's even got to the end, I doubt it.
If anyone wants advice as well, genuinely DM me, because I've got some great like resources that I use that genuinely actually changed my life, and it kind of goes through certain things that made you this way. It might not even come from, it might have come from bullying in school or not being seen. Like, I recently have done a lot of research on this, because I genuinely hate that this is a part of me and how I make other people feel because of it. So we can go for it together. Even, do you know what? Like, even if maybe one day in our schedule, meet for coffee.
We can set up a drink.
There's no, that's what I mean. There's
if
no
anyone
problem.
wants to. No one's getting to the end of this
no
podcast,
one, of course. It's just ours. It's
maybe,
just ours. But like,
maybe I'll
even
clip
if like, no, but seriously, even if you just want to meet for like, at a cafe and just to talk.
Do you know what? I might look into that more, because it's so important to talk, one, about mental health in general, but specific scenarios like this, or even
like
if
self-realization,
you want to learn more about how you've impacted other people. Like, I've sat down with JC, and JC will call me out on my bullshit, do you know what I mean? And we are happy to do it for others. But it's a safe place where, like, I want to share experiences. Like I've said so many times, I've been a nice person, but I've been a bad person, do you know what I mean? And if anyone is trying to understand that more, we're not some teachers or whatnot, but we're like a supportive hand.
Like we talk about, me and Maisie talk about this all the time, the importance of having a community, and the fact that our generation lacks that so much is why I think there's so much of this going on, and not only just
many,
that,
like just opinions,
like finding a community
trends
on TikTok which is based on narcissism, basically the whole app.
Like,
I promise the advice they give you, like
when a man does this, when a woman does this, that is
the advice that is said on that app actually sends me into like.
But anyway, I just feel like, although this may seem a bit of a rant, and I've probably been the most vulnerable and open I've ever been. I think it's necessary, one, for closure for me and you, like, just to like summarize what we've been through and how we got out of it, and two, to really help others. And I really hope that someone sees this and goes, fuck.
Even if
do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Like, wow. Even if they've seen the first 10 minutes and just thought, I'm gonna clip this bit so everyone knows. But thank you very much for watching. And I'm gonna always a pleasure.